FTF.GG welcomes you live to the virtual Daytona International Speedway for the WINSTEL 400, the 10th annual WINSTEL 400 here at Daytona. 82 drivers wanted to make the field. We've whittled it down to 43. These drivers raced their way in through LCQs. 2 drivers locked themselves in on the front row. The rest of the field set by qualifying that just wrapped up a moment ago. And everybody's now gritting here on pit road. Should be a lot of fun here tonight. 160 laps, 400 miles around this old surfaced Daytona. Jacob Hitz, Benjamin Easterday here with you for the call. Zach Johnson, our producer for this evening. And Ben, I tell you what, this racetrack is a lot of fun. It feels like no matter what car you bring on this surface, the bumps just make this track so much better.
This is the best Daytona on iRacing, period. You got the bumps on the inside of turn 1 and 2 that want to spin you out. In 3 and 4, you got a couple bumps, but not as severe as 1 and 2. We'll see multi-lane racing and hard racing. Handling will be an issue later on in the runs, and I believe that the top might be stronger, but the low will definitely be stronger at the starts of all the runs.
Now you see a couple of just shots of the racetrack, and man, this place is so fun. 160 laps. It's a long time for these guys, and you're going to be running solely in the daylight. No lights here at this version of the Speedway, so really, you're going to be having the sun beat down on the racetrack all day long. It's going to be slick. It's going to be wild. And I'm sure by the end of this thing, we're going to have some people unhappy with each other and with damaged race cars. Let's get to our starting grid here from Daytona International Speedway as the field rolls off. That's wrong. Okay, so I believe row 1 is technically row 2. Yes? No? Zach? Alex Kalonix is on the front row. He is the pole sitter. Kevin McAdams starts alongside. They locked themselves in through qualifying previous to today. So, row 2, everything you see third on back, you can knock Kevin out and you can knock Kalonix out. So, Alec Martinez and Garrett Lowe will start in row 2. Lowe, of course, one of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers. Row number 3, Connor Anton and Michael P. Frisch. In row number 4, you've got Sean Butler. Nick Doucette will line up to his outside. Row 4 will be Jake Poulin and Dylan Roberts? Maybe? I'm not sure how they're going to... We'll just say Zach Amons to his outside so we can skip through and look at the next group here. So, starting in row number 7, you've got Dylan in the 42 with Dylan Roberts to his outside. Then Logan Kress and Tyler Head. Ryan Doucette and Gabriel Mauricio will line up in row number 9. Blake Reynolds, Brandon McKissick rounding out the top 20. Then Parker Alexander, Tryphon Davis. Going down through Tryphon, sorry. New names for even me, so we'll get it right eventually. Ryan Nalraki with Sean Pallig to his outside, then Emily Howe, Dylan Parker, Alex Bates, Anthony Emery, Octavio Rondoletto, Emmanuel Lopez, Nick Tarabuck, Jaden Carter, rounding out your top, 26, I think, then... row 15, not top 15. Jeremy Stanley, Josh Burnett, then... Gil Chatlane, Justin Malillo lines up to his outside. Andrew Freynars, Connor Horn, Aaron Smith, Brennan McGee. The 888 there of Nan Flores, Jeffrey McClintock to his outside. And then the final 3, Philip Snipes, Kevin Spencer, and Brandon Cruz Monsive sit shotgun on the field way back in the 43rd and final position. Final thoughts here, Ben. Half a lap before we go green.
It was a good thing that there was 2 laps of pacing with you trying to get through all those names. Our producer is definitely going to be screaming at us today. Throughout the race.
You know what? It better me than you, because you said you don't want to have to even try, so this is what you get.
Yeah, I am definitely not the one that can pronounce names correctly, so I forced Jacob to read them all. These things happen.
Yeah, that they do.
But we're going to see. We're going to be coming to green. We're in turn 3 right now. We're going to see if it's nice and clean. I'm really worried about turn 3, how they get through. That's when people like to put it 3 wide and then not realize that the bumps are coming. But we're exiting turn 4 right now. And Jake, go ahead and get it started.
I don't know how, but this is going to make my night. Somehow the 49ers got the ball back. If you're not watching the playoff wildcard game, it looks like Dallas is going to lose. Yay! Here we come for the green flag. McAdams and Kalanick on the front row. The WINSTEL 400, 10th annual WINSTEL 400 is underway from Daytona.
The outside gets quite a move here. It's got about a car length as Mr. Doritos up there. And now the inside's starting to pull away. But we're double wide all the way throughout the back of the field as we enter the backstretch.
Mr. Doritos, Ben, that's Kevin. You know Kevin. Come on now.
He's Mr. Doritos now. I don't care if he's Kevin McAdams. He's Kevin Doritos.
All right, perfect. Well, here they come through 3 and 4, still side by side. McAdams on the high side, Kalanick on the low side. As they wheel it around off turn number 4, who's going to lead the first lap of the WINSTEL 400? At the stripe, it will be McAdams. He leads the opening lap, only 159 more to go.
Yeah, we got a lot of laps to go. Looks like the bottom line seems to be the most formed. Looking back through the field, up high, we see less and less drivers, and they're all trying to drop to the bottom. But I believe the high side's going to come in rather shortly, and that's going to be the preferred lane as we go through with these tires being used up.
With the bumps being down on the bottom of the racetrack, it really bounces these cars around up toward the outside wall. It's a little bit smoother. It's not as hard on the tires as Kalanick washes up and almost gets into Garrett Lowe in that white 06 car. He's going to take second place and try and peek to the inside of McAdams. Instead, McAdams is going to cover the spot. Now Michael P. Frisch will lead the outside line with help from Nick Doucette as McAdams goes back to the top side here in 1.
Yeah, Frisch is going to be helping out Mr. Doritos' man, Kevin McAdams. He's going to give him a nice shove here in the back. Frisch is a known great pusher and a great driver overall, and he's really good at the pushing. I've had experience with him with FTF testing, and you just can't push through the corners, especially here. The bumps will kind of upset the car and spin the car in front of you. Just got to let off in the corners and then get on the rear end in the straightaways.
And even though the bumpers are flatter, it's harder to pick the rear tires up off the ground compared to things like the ARCA cars here. But you're right, you still do not want to push in the corners because of the bumps. These things don't have that much grip. They'll go around and it'll send half the pack width if you're not careful. As Garrett Lowe, he's getting the heck pushed out of him there by the 22 of Kalanick. But the outside line is really starting to form up and gather some momentum. McAdams leads. You got Michael P. Frisch in second. Doucette in third. Nick Doucette, that is. As Garrett Lowe comes over the radio and says to Kalanick, hey, you need to get off the back bumper before you wreck me.
Yeah, one thing you're going to have to worry about as well is engine temps. Track temp right now is 122 with 83 degrees for the air temp. So with those high temperatures, you're going to be getting the engine pretty hot, especially if you're tucked into the rear bumper of the car in front of you. As we see the high lane starting to take form and starting to gain as the low lane is falling farther and farther back.
Dylan Roberts takes P4 around the outside. Tyler Head sits in P5, and now Mauricio is clear for P6. 6-car breakaway, make it 7-car breakaway at the front here with Triffin Davis. As Garrett Lowe still leading that inside line, but not a lot of people downstairs. They all want to get to the high side as quick as they possibly can. Sean Butler just made the move to the outside further back. As you can see, this inside line is just withering away as we are now 5 laps complete.
Yeah, looking for a gap wherever you can find it, trying to get onto that train before leaves the station. You can see that top lane is starting to be the preferred lane, and we're probably going to be seeing single file from here on going forward. unless these guys can figure out some way to pass on the inside, either doing dive bombs like they do in the Cup Series, or at least they did with the old series, with the old cars. I'm not sure how that'll work out in iRacing, though.
Here you see Garrett Lowe. He's got some friends behind him, but they are few and far between as we got a car up in the wall coming off turn 4, it looked like. Zach Amon in the 18 looked like he caught the fence coming off 4. Jake Poulin in the 03 trying to give some help, as well as the 77 of Ryan Doucette there to Garrett Lowe. They are way back in the 17th position right now, but Lowe thought he was getting some friends coming down to join him in Blake Reynolds. Instead, he goes up to the outside line and now looks to peek back down low as everybody in the top 15 is single file. And as I say that, somebody pulls out a line, I'm guessing just to get some air on the nose of the race car. Logan Kretz peeked out for a moment. Sean Butler does the same here in turn number 3. No help, but looks like he's going to go for the pass on the car right behind Kress. That's Connor Anton. And he's trying to get by, and he makes some contact with him. Kalonix fills the gap behind, and now Butler's going to be sinking through the field.
Yeah, Butler tried to do that dive to the bottom to gain a position, but didn't work out. He tried to side draft and got a little too close. He drops back in line now behind Alex. But, ooh, we got a car in the wall. That is Zach.
Man, oh man. A 24, Zach Amon got really sideways there. Saw him pop out of line, drop all the way to the bottom. He gets it back under control, now goes back to the inside line. It almost looks like he's blocking back there as we've got a battle up front for the lead. Hold on. We are trying to make some work here. Nick Doucette downstairs with help from Dylan Roberts. Meanwhile, Frisch and McAdams are going to stay up on the outside. Head goes to the inside. It's the 3 horsemen downstairs. Doucette will lead the lap. And this top 5 is actually pulling away from the rest of the outside line.
This is going to be interesting. 3 cars on the inside versus 2 cars on the outside. Who's going to be stronger? We see that the line of the train is wanting to go to the bottom, but that black car decided, 96, decided not to drop down. He's going to be helping Frisch give him a nice kiss on the rear end and push him to the front.
It's Triffin Davis in the 96 that decides to go with McAdams and Frisch, but it's the bottom 4. Doucette, Roberts, Head, and Mauricio that are going to push their way on the inside line. Kalonix trying to help. He's a couple car lengths back as now this outside line is forced to regroup here to try and put the charge back on Nick Doucette, who leads yet another lap as this time by will be 10 laps complete in the WINSTEL 400.
Yeah, we got the 4 cars working together, but we got a nice crispy Frisch right behind the crispy Doritos of Kevin and nice good shove into turn 3. I tried to pun my way through it. It failed.
I can't believe you tried to make that work. Yeah. Wow. All right. Here they come off turn 4 to complete lap number 10. It'll be Nick Doucette that leads this lap. Dylan Roberts in second. Tyler Head in third. Kevin McAdams trying to lead the charge on that outside line, and they are stacked up pretty tight upstairs. The only problem is they just cannot get the run to get alongside this top 3. They're stuck side by side with Gabe Mauricio in the 04.
Yeah, that inside seems to be pulling away. The more drivers, the more merrier, as Kevin McAdams has now dropped back to the 5th position. And we're actually seeing Sean Butler come in here. I think he started about mid-pack, and he's looking for the 5th position now.
Gotta wonder if maybe Frisch is cooking the engine a little too much, just because he's been tucked underneath Kevin this whole green flag run. As we go on board here with Frisch, he has not gotten a lot of air onto the front of that race car. I'd be a little nervous if I was Frisch with the water temps. If they start to get a little high, I would want to duck out of line and try and get some air on that thing.
Yeah, and I'm mistaken that Frisch or Butler actually started 5th, so he's right back where he was. He just dropped back. The person that we see from mid-pack is actually Gabriel. He started 16th and now has worked his way up to 4th.
And so Gabriel Mauricio sits in P4 right now, is able to slide his way up to the front. I've been told we need to take a look at the battle going on for 39th. This is 3 seconds behind the main pack. Justin Melillo is back there with Philip Snipes, Brandon Cruz, Montseve, Kevin Spencer, Andrew Freinars, who started from the pits. He's actually further behind this group. There is Justin, who's just riding around at this point and waiting for the wreck. And probably going to be a long while until we see him up to the front. But we know Justin pretty well, and once it's go time, he's going to be up at the front when it matters.
Yep, those cars are back there.
Thanks for the analysis. Benjamin Easterday, everybody. We've had a role reversal up here at the front. Doucette and gang have gone to the high side. Here comes McAdams with a huge run on the inside with help from Frisch. He's going to bring the 96 with him as well. They make their way up to P3 behind Dylan Roberts, side by side with Tyler Head. But it's this top two breaking away, and now the outside line formed up once again, and the inside line is pretty much broken. You've got McAdams, Frisch, Davis, and Butler downstairs, and then you got to go way back there to Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, the leaders switched sides, so now Nicholas Dossett is up in the top lane, and now Michael P. Frisch and Kevin McAdams now run the bottom. So a switch of roles. Let's see if it works out better for him.
Through 3 and 4. Man, that 52 all over the back bumper. Dylan Parker almost put his nose where it didn't belong as the top 3 break away with Doucette, Roberts, and Head, and then it's side by side for 4th between Mauricio and Kevin McAdams.
It looked like he was looking for 3, or he was just trying to get some air on that nose to cool down the engine. But I haven't seen 3-wide racing at all in this track so far looking through the field. It's pretty risky, especially on this version of Daytona. If you go 3 wide, you're kind of hoping that the inside line can hold that line on the bumps. Otherwise, it's going to go up into you and cause a big one.
McAdams is falling back side by side with Kolonix for P7. As the inside line, the 4 horsemen down there just continue to slip back. And I think we may have actually achieved just single file choo-choo train here from Daytona. And just how strong the outside line really is here.
Yeah, that inside line is just not working. Like in 3 and 4, it works a bit better just because there's less bumps. But right on the exit of turn 1, when you're taking the turn, there's a huge bump on the bottom. That if you hit it, it just slows you way down and it kind of kills your run, especially on older tires.
Through 3 and 4. Kevin McAdams led the first couple laps. Since then, Nick Doucette has taken over. And he's not looked back and really hasn't had much of a challenge up at the front. His teamwork here from Doucette and Roberts has really paid off, and I think it's going to be the goal of the folks behind him to try and break this dynamic duo up by the time we get to the end of this race.
Yep, now it's a waiting game to see who wants to try to get a run and drop down to the bottom. I don't see anyone wanting to do it this lap, especially now that Dylan Roberts is giving a nice shove to Nick Dossett, but we'll see if someone tries to make that run just like Nick Dossett did on Kevin McAdams and Frisch, and see if they can try to get themselves in front of them and get to the lead.
"17 laps are complete here at Daytona International Speedway in the WINSTEL 400. Nick Doucette is the leader. As, well, right now he's just junior lining all the way around the racetrack.
Zach is screaming in my ear saying it is Doucette, not Cassette, so I'll try to correct my wording in the future.
All right. Grammar lessons with Zach Johnson. good amount of battling going on back here, side by side. Kevin McAdams, Sean Butler. The two that join me for core every night around the, not every night, every Thursday night. And who are often in this broadcast booth for different events. Running back there in the 13th and 14th position right now. That's the first side-by-side battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're stuck with me in the booth today as they're back in 13th. Kevin McAdams have just been really dropping back with Frisch just stuck behind him on the inside, just continuing to drop back. That inside line is just not doing it for him. There we see Sean Butler drop to the inside. We'll see if they can gain some runs. Try to get back up to the front.
It just feels like you need a lot of help down low, and even then, if you've got good pushers up on the outside line in the minority, they can still pull away, because that's what we've seen out of Nick Doucette so far and Dylan Roberts. And they come off turn number 4 to complete 40 laps. They've got a lap car just up the road. That being Parker Alexander, who is on the lead lap, but won't be for much longer because the field is rocketing toward him. And the field is much, much quicker. They're about 20 mile an hour faster than the slow car right now.
Yeah, that EA Games sponsored car is going to get lapped and is going to get maybe a bit lower rating on Metacritic for that. These things happen as is EA Games.
Dang. We do have a second line forming here on the inside line. That is...
inside line?
We do have an inside line forming together here. Emily Howe is leading the charge. Ryan Doucette right behind her. And there are 5 or 6 cars in this inside line, and they're making forward progress side by side between Howe and Dylan Alt. That is for position number 7. So they made their way up into the top 7. We'll see what this lap car of Parker Alexander has to do with everything else going on. But for the time being, as they're all going to go to the inside here to get around them, this inside line appears to have momentum once again.
Yeah, it's going to be fun once he catches those that are side by side, and it's going to be our first 3 wide action for the day. That is, unless he gets pushed.
What? Zach, you're getting more excited than we are. What did we miss? Logan Kress, he's doing fine. He's P16 right now. He didn't get turned. Almost doesn't mean he did. Zach Johnson, everybody. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtains. We're 3 wide here off turn 2. Kalanick's in the middle. Alexander up top. Garrett Lowe down low. And they're going to make it. They survive as now everybody's single file on the bottom of the racetrack in front of these folks.
Yeah, so far, single wide action. Surprisingly, Sean's running the bottom now after passing that lap car. We'll see if he continues to ride that bottom or if he moves up to the top. There's a couple that are looking up high and are trying to form their own line. That is Emily Howe and Nick Doucette. And we'll see if they can make their way up the front if other cars don't start making their way up to the high side.
Sean leads, then it's Brandon McKissick, Dylan Roberts, Alec Martinez, Gabe Mauricio, Connor Horn. But the outside line, Emily Howe has gotten side by side here with Connor Horn. Remember, Connor Horn, well, he's a lap down. So he's back in 41st place. Right now, Connor Horn is in the free pass position. If a caution were to come out, he'd get the free pass with Emily Howe on his outside right now. Howe sits in position number 6.
So far, Sean is still running that bottom line, but that high side is coming and charging. Still, Emily Howe leading that high side right next to Gabriel on the inside. Gabriel is thinking, and he goes up in that look-alike Jimmy Johnson scheme.
At 04, Mauricio on the outside line trying to get something started. Now the 18 is going to go with, and Martinez. We'll see where Roberts decides to go and if McKissick will follow. Instead, they're all going to jump to the outside line and squash any thought of getting around Sean Butler for the time being.
Yeah, that was a smart move by Sean Butler to move up to the high side. That's going to block that lane from continuing to go forward. Now it's going to be Connor Horn all by himself on the inside. He's not getting any help from the car behind him, which is Ryan in the 37 car. He needs to get up to that rear bumper, otherwise they're going to continue to fall.
Here's Mauricio down on the inside line with no help. Pulled out from behind the 18 of Martinez, and now looks like he's going to fall all the way back here to Connor Horn and maybe get some help on the inside line.
Yeah, maybe Connor Horn is going to be a better pusher, and that can try to help that bottom line move their way up to the front. Sometimes these lines are more dictated by the car in second than the car in the leader. Car in the leader is just trying to drive as straight as possible, where the car second can dictate how fast or slow you go, depending on if they're going to be right on that rear bumper, give you a push on those straightaways, or lit off, get air to that nose, and that kind of slows down the line as Brandon McKissick, tries to sneak under Sean Butler there. Sean Butler was quick and made his way down to the inside.
Kalanick gets a little sideways as now here comes Martinez up on the outside line. Falling backward, trying to get help from Connor Anton here on the top side. As they keep charging through. We're more than a quarter way through the WINSTEL 400. Here from Daytona.
Now, Sean Butler knows that Brandon McKissick is not someone to be trusted now. He cannot trust him throughout the rest of this race after what he did there. You just remember that as you're a driver and racing these, you learn that, that guy's not going to stay with me. I'm going to remember that and make sure that he does not get around me, period. But that means the block or anything like that. Sean Butler's going to be looking at his rear end way more now that he knows that he cannot trust Brandon McKissick to follow him.
McKissick hanging right in there with Butler, though, I'm sure, until he gets some help to pull out a line here and make a move. And there are some more lap traffic just up the road from the race leader. Philip Snipes, Spencer. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Turn my push talk off so I didn't have to hear it. Brandon Monsivais. Yeah, well, he's coming on the pit road, so forget that. He's going to get lapped here this time. But there's a couple of lap cars at speed that the leaders are going to hit here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, it looks like Philip Snipes is going into the pit lane as well. Either to get that fuel only and try to play some strategy, or just trying to get out the way of the leaders. But now currently we got the train rolling on the inside lane as we got about 15 cars back the second lane trying to do something. But currently the train is running on the low side.
Yeah. So this has been the race, single file choo-choo train, which it makes sense. It's a long race. Just ride it around, keep the car clean. They do have one faster pair, but I'm sure they just want to make it to the end and then wad them all up.
Yeah, they're still about 30 laps away from halfway. Again, there's 160 laps, and we're on lap 51 now. So we still got many more pit stops to happen, and anything can happen, especially on this version of Daytona.
"50 laps are complete. 110 laps to go. Sean Butler continues to lead, as we've got some folks that are going to be coming in for pit stops. believe they're going to be toward the back of the field. Let's see as they come off turn number 4. If anybody's going to come in, yeah, it's all at the back. Chat Lane, Rondoletto, Jaden Carter, Manuel Lopez all coming onto pit road.
Oh, we got a car almost going around. Was Blake Reynolds almost got turned by the lap car of Philip Snipes that just came out back up off of pit road. That was a scary moment. That kind of broke him up at the tail end of the train. But that broke him up, and now they're too wide behind him, trying to keep their positions or gain some positions off of that mistake.
Leaders coming in this time. Brandon McKissick, party of one, staying out on the racetrack. Everybody else, for the most part, up at the front, coming on. They made it work earlier, and they're going to make it work now. 2 for 2. Good job, guys.
Sean Butler went in there way fast. I don't know if he's going to be getting a black flag speeding penalty or what, but if he doesn't, he got in there very good.
Nobody has a black flag based on the entry sheet.
We're hearing from Zach after hammering his computer that someone did hit the car.
Butler's going.
Might be a black flag.
No black flags. Not a 1. Sean Butler wins that race off pit road. As Brandon McKissick's now on pit road, and Ryan Nawrocki is your race leader. We haven't talked about him at all tonight. And he's your race leader right now. With Garrett Lowe, as everybody else has come onto pit road. What? I'm trying to figure out scoring. Okay, scoring is showing not Nawrocki out in front now. It's now showing Anthony Emery out front. But that doesn't make any... Oh, I know why. He had to... His pit stall is at the start-finish line, and he missed his box and had to back up. So ATVO counted it because he crossed the line. Here comes Nawrocki onto pit road.
He slid through. He might be getting a speed penalty from that. We'll see.
Still no black flags.
iRacing is being lenient today.
Yeah. So Brandon McKissick is your race leader.
Not for long. Sean
Yeah, because here comes Sean. Remember me, Sean Butler, your new race leader here tentatively as they come through 3 and 4. You've got Nick Doucette there in second, and these two have broken away for the rest of the field. Here they come to the start-finish line. Butler officially takes third at start-finish and should overtake the lead here by the time he gets to the back straightaway.
Let's see if Doucette can do some good tandeming here through the backstretch. If they can continue to do tandeming through the backstretch and through the triable, they can keep this gap, but I doubt that's going to happen. I forgot with these cars, you can get a bubble that's kind of stuck in between the rear bumper and the front bumper of the cars and kind of prevent you from trying to get on that rear bumper and shove them. So you're just stuck with that bubble, stuck with that distance until you get someone behind you to shove you, in which case shoves you into their car and breaks that bubble.
Let's take a look at our next event coming up over the next week here on FTF.GG.
Which lane is he going to have to block?
The intensity level is tanked here at Daytona.
3 wide, 2 rows deep behind him.
He's going to have to hang on for dear life and make it as wide as he can get.
Big wreck off of turn 2. They're side by side for the lead.
And if they get to the white flag, we'll see it through to the end.
And Michael Frisch is going to win the FCS Bar Visuals 500.
Sorry, I was watching the video because I was curious what it looked like. Sean, 9 out of 10 on the video that I know you produced. It's good. It was going to get a 7, and then when the voices came in with Blake there at the end, that's what bumped it up to a 9. I was hoping that some voiceover stuff was going to make it. Good stuff. Good job.
I'm disappointed that my side-by-side with Melillo in one of those testing sessions didn't make it into that video.
Well, you know, there's only so much footage that Sean can use.
But talking about Sean is leading the race. He's been leading throughout the most of this race, except for the start. He's been finding himself up there, and there's been a couple of people that tried to make some meaty move behind him, tried to steal that position, but he's been pretty level-headed and kept that position.
So we are closing in on halfway here from Daytona. Sean Butler continues to lead this thing. Nick Doucette in second. Then it's McKissick, Dylan, Emily Howe, your top 5. As we are closing in on just 100 laps to go here from Daytona International Speedway.
Surprisingly quiet race. We have not seen any kind of accident. We've seen a couple people hit the wall. We've seen a couple people get loose with a car hitting them in the rear end. But other than that, no real cautions going on so far. We'll see if I jinx it and we get one, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
The commentator's curse lives on through Benjamin Easterday.
That hammering you hear?
Was somebody doing construction nearby, Ben?
No, it is Zach's hammering his computer to make it work.
I can't wait to get the explanation from Zach when we get to a break on what in the world happens. He says he thought it might be overheating in winter.
Yeah, then he bragged that it was 31 degrees outside.
Yeah, imagine. I assume it's still snowing here.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting about 5 to 8 inches here in Ohio, or at least where I am in Ohio.
And I think we're in the 4 to 8 range with rain and slop coming up. Ugh, not fun. Especially when it happens on a holiday, so you can't get a day off of work or school or anything. Like, who planned this out?
Hey, it beats having to use a vacation day.
This is true. How about Emily Howe, though? Peeking to the outside, trying to take over P3. She gets back in line now. Behind the 24, Brandon McKissick.
Yeah, so far we've seen a bunch of double wide racing again. We haven't really seen any 3 wide racing. It's pretty not really smart on this version of Daytona. It can be possible. It's just not something smart to do. But yeah, we see Sean continuing to run that bottom lane. As we see the top line still trying to do something. We see Dylan Alt leading that high side back in. I believe that's eighth position.
With Alt, yeah. With McClintock now taking that spot away on the inside line. Alt getting pushed by the lapper of Colin Fern. That's pretty much the only outside line, even though Alec Martinez is up there a little further ways back.
Still double wide throughout the mid-pack. Haven't really seen any meaty moves yet. We've seen a couple more people drop into the inside. Seems like more people want to run the inside than the outside currently. We'll see how long that lasts, especially when these tires start getting old.
Is these guys are going to have to make probably, I don't know, 3 more stops to the end at least. I think, if I'm doing that math any sort of right. Now, that's without a caution. We've been green this whole time. Is a little bit of shuffling up here at the front of the field. Emily Howe looking to the outside, but McKissick closes the door, as does Doucette, as does Sean Butler. So everybody goes back up to the top of the racetrack, and we're going to rim ride for a little bit.
Yeah, the spotters have been doing their jobs, and they've been able to see which lane is running faster. And once Emily started to look on the outside, started to look fast, everyone just decided to go up and run that high side just to block that kind of line. Emily is the one that has made the setup for the WINSTEL 400, so we got to thank her for making this awesome setup and getting these cars all set up for this racing. Ooh, we see some blocking there, kind of mid-pack.
Oh, McKissick tried to throw the block on Howe. Instead, Emily Howe had to lift, and that's going to cause everybody from 4th on back to check up. That could have been our first major accident of the day, but instead, we keep on fighting 65 laps in to the WINSTEL 400.
That was really close. At first, that mid-pack around where they're too wide, that's where we saw a car almost go sideways, and then midway through the train, there were some meaty moves happening. We almost saw a wreck there. But Emily's looking to do the inside now. She's got some momentum. We're going to see if Sean Butler... Ooh! Doucette really close in on there.
And there goes McKissick. Drops up to the outside line and doesn't have a dancing partner. It's going to allow everybody to scoot by for another position. Puts Howe in 3rd place behind Nick Doucette. Looking to the outside, McKissick tries to slide in line in front of Colin Fern. Can't make it happen, has to pull out of line again and go back up to the outside line. Colin Fern, did I screw that one up? Who the hell's in the 67 then? Am I going crazy? Am I calling too much Monday Night Racing? Connor Horn, drat. Yes, Connor Horn, not Fern. I know who you are.
These things happen.
All right, Ben Franklin, take us around here.
All right. Do we want to go and take a ride on the hood? Try to make a lap?
Sure, let's go on board with, well, that's McKissick. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the lead. So let's get off board because here...
Oh, no, there's a big
in front of the field. There goes Howe around. The big one in turn number 3. Half the field, maybe more, is involved, and it all started when contact between Sean Butler and Nick Doucette battling for the lead set the spark, and this field ignited. Connor Horn stayed up there the whole time to try and get the lucky dog, and since he's involved in the accident, he ain't gonna get it. And it was contact. It looked like there may have been a little bit of a network issue that caused that. We'll take a look here at the replay in just a moment. First caution flag of the day on lap 69. Nice. Here's the replay.
Sean Butler here tried to get some side draft on 51, and then it was a bit of a net code that got them together, and that just caused a big one. Everyone behind them just had to check up, and there were some ARCA brakes back there and some wrecked cars.
So Howe blinked out, and Butler actually does get a piece of this, gets hooked back up into the wall after contact. There you see, I think the first one that makes it through is the Coke Series driver, Garrett Lowe. I think he's the first one that makes it through without hitting anybody. everybody else in the top 10 got a piece of it. And there's a lot of damage. Let's get on board here with Garrett Lowe if we can. On board with the 06. Just
Perfect
get
job
low
there.
and hang on.
Yep. You might have
Well,
got
it has
some
damage, though. What?
Might have gotten a little boop from the back.
Can we get a shot from behind? Or just a TV camera? It's a little far out. Yeah, that's zooming in. Yeah, that's... Nonetheless, pits are open, and everybody is on pit road.
It's going to be interesting to see who takes their fast repair or who just tries to get it repaired. I don't have ATVO up, so one of you is going to have to give me whether who uses a fast repair or not. I believe Alec is repairing his damage.
Well, no, Kolonix used his fast repair. Alex, not Alec, I'm sorry. Martinez is not using his fast repair. Oh, where did he go? Doucette used his fast repair. Kolonix, as I mentioned, used his fast repair. Dylan Parker has used his fast repair. I don't know if McClintock was involved in the crash or not, since he's a lap down, but he has used his fast repair now. And that is it. Everybody else is saving their fast repair for later on in this race. Again, we're not quite at the halfway point. Alex Kolonix is your race leader after being involved in the crash. 2 drivers are out of the race. Kevin Spencer and Emily Howe, who was involved in that, and I'm not sure if her computer blew up or what, because she got turned, and poof, she's out of here.
Yeah, she's currently showing 1 lap down. She just disconnected the server due to...
Actually, she's back now. She's back on the racetrack now.
All right.
In the pit box, 2 laps down. So she is going to be able to continue on. But, yeah.
Hopefully because of those computer issues, she can try to get her laps back. Meanwhile, we are 1 to go. As these guys are doubling it up.
The 22 of Alex Kolonix on pit road. 13.9 seconds in the box, so he did take service with the fast repair.
Yeah, I think he was one of the ones that had the front end missing. So he took his fast repair, and now it's going to be leading the outside lane.
A lot of damage in that first crash of the day. And we are half a lap away from getting back under the green flag. And getting this race going once again.
Yep, so we're going to have Brandon McKissick leading the inside, followed by Alex on the outside, leading the high side. Then behind him, we have Logan Kress and Blake Reynolds, one of the pro drivers, as we are about to go green.
Through 3 and 4. Kolonix will start on the outside line. Brandon McKissick will be down low, and it might be a good thing that McKissick decided to fall back because he was not right in the eye of the storm when the big one happened up at the front. So here we go. Ready for the restart, green flag.
Alex with a jump, but that's probably not going to help him. Blake is really far behind. We're going to probably get a big checkup on the outside as Brandon McKissick has a bit more help on the inside. They're a bit more closer, and they're going to pull away here onto the backstretch.
Kolonix trying to get some help from Blake Reynolds up on the high side. McKissick leads down low. Logan Kress pushing McKissick down to that inside line. We got some new faces up here at the front. 48 Octavio Rondoletto up there as well.
Blake gave a nice good shove to Alex and broke that bubble. He was pushing them all throughout the backstretch, and now he's going to be trying to push them all through the tri-oval. It is really iffy to be pushing in the tri-oval, especially at this Daytona. It is really bumpy. It doesn't look like it. It is, trust me. As they go into the turn one, just got to stay as close as you can without pushing into these turns. The 30 car is doing a great job in that as they go into the backstretch. Double wide.
Everybody stays 2x2. It takes a couple laps for that inside line to fall apart and for everybody to get single file, but once it starts to happen, it happens pretty quick.
Yeah, it's all dependent on that second car. The 30 car is doing a great job with shoving the 24. Meanwhile, Blake is either trying to keep that car as cool as possible, or he's just having trouble trying to break that bubble and get to the rear end of the 22 to push Alex throughout race course.
Kalanic continues to lead as we are 7 laps away from the halfway point here at Talladega. Got somebody down on the flat. That's the 98, the Skittles car that gets lapped.
Oh, we got some movement happening mid-pack. They're 3 wide now.
It's Martinez down there. You've got Jaden Carter in the middle.
Looks like they're working it out now. I think someone got a bad shove, and that kind of pushed him underneath the yellow line. Now currently...
There is no yellow line. Oh, sorry, Ben. There is no yellow line rule for these guys, so they can go below the double yellow line. I just hope that they know that if they don't come back up, we're going to have issues.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like mid-90s plate racing now. We got a front pack that's about 10 cars. Then we have a mid-pack and rear pack. We'll see in the next couple laps if someone of them can get a run, start catching the pack up, and rejoin everyone. But after those two kind of sideway incidents, that kind of really broken up the field.
Kalanic is clear for the race lead. And Blake Reynolds is clear for second with 5 laps until halfway. Still a long way to go here from Daytona.
Yeah, Octavio dropped to the inside. We haven't really seen him run into the front until quite recently. He tried to make a move, and now, Blake, he tried to drop to the inside. And Alex tried to block it. It did not work. And now we see Blake Reynolds now leading the WINSTEL 400.
That should have wound up with Alex Kalanic on his roof down in the infield. That was that was ugly. So Blake Reynolds now leads with Tryfon Davis right behind him in second. Kalanic shuffled back to third, but here comes Octavio Rondoletto in that 48 down on the inside with help from McKissick.
Again, now it's all based off of that second car. I'm not 100% sure how good Tryfon is on shoving, but I do know that for looking at the previous laps, the 24 McKissick is really good at shoving, and he is really right on that rear end of Octavio in the car 48, and he's really shoving him, trying to get him up to the front. Yeah, you can just see on that onboard, sometimes there can be a bubble that you just can't break. Thankfully for Brandon McKissick, he has broken that bubble, and he is just right on that rear end and getting a lot of speed, shoving that car into the turn.
Here comes the 48 with a big push from the 24 McKissick. That's Rondoletto in that 48, trying to charge his way to the front. Here comes the 96, though, of Davis to the inside for the lead. Kalanic is going to shoot the gap, go from top to bottom, and take over second as Tryfon Davis takes the lead off turn 4.
They got the lead, but how long is it going to last? They're pretty broken up on the inside. Blake has a real good shove happening behind him. and they're going to have to block this move.
Kalanick's with the lead on the inside line, kind of sliding around. Does not seem that his car is real stable whenever he's getting pushed consistently. As here comes Davis on the outside line in the 96. That 48 all over the back bumper, Kalanick's, as they come off turn 4.
Yeah, we got Alex on the inside getting a nice shove. They're pretty close up now with shoving throughout the tri-oval, and we might see shoveling. Shoveling.
It's not snowing.
Not here in Daytona. We might see some shoving though.
Whoa!
Correctly.
Speaking of shoving, Kalanick's got shoved up the racetrack right in front of Triffin Davis, and here comes the 48 low sideways with help from McKissick. That's going to hurt Rondoletto downstairs. Kalanick's holds the lead up top.
We could say this: Kalanick's is shoveling the air for the cars behind him, getting that draft.
You could. That you could.
Mm-hmm.
As Rondoletto trying to make a run, here comes Triffin Davis to the inside of Kalanick's for the lead. As we are now at the halfway point in the WINSTEL 400.
Got a lot more shoving going on. Again, these lines are dictated by the cars that are in second place. So Blake is pretty much controlling that high side, controlling the speed. Meanwhile, Octavio is controlling that inside speed. If they continue to stay on the rear ends, they'll continue to go forward.
Just a note, by the way, if you hear what sounds like ice pelting the side of a house, that's because it's now sleeting here in my neck of the woods. It scared the hell out of me, trying to figure out what in the world that noise was. It's just the weather outside. Don't worry about it. Kalanick's leads here with Blake Reynolds in second, and Kalanick's, that thing is just slideways up at the front.
Yeah, getting nice good shoves from Blake, and now leading that line. We'll see if they can continue to pull away, but Blake is way far away from Alex now. They're going to be dropping back.
Here comes Reynolds to the inside. Kalanick's covers the spot down to the bottom. And that's going to allow the outside lane to charge forward. Here comes Dylan Parker. They go back to the top side, though, to cover the spot.
Alex knows that he has an enemy behind him now. Blake trying to make any kind of move, trying to dive low, trying to drive high. He's going to dive low now, but he doesn't really have any help below him. Let's see if he can slide in front of Alex. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and Alex is going to get a nice shove from that 52 car of Dylan Parker.
Kalanick's continues to lead in that outside line, and Reynolds is going to fall back now and need some help. He's going to get it from Triffin Davis in that 96. As the inside line is trying to hold together for the time being. But we are getting closer and closer to these guys once again having to make green flag pit stops. As we've only had one caution so far. They're about to lap Jeffrey McClintock again. And so they come through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Triffin really needs to get to the rear end of Blake Reynolds. Otherwise, they're going to continue to fall back and continue to fall farther and farther. They're now in 8th, now 9th, now 10th. If they continue to do this, they're going to continue to fall back.
Off turn 2. 84 laps are complete. We are past halfway here in the WINSTEL 400. Alex Kalonix, who started on pole, is your race leader. Only one caution so far for a big wreck. About 25 laps to go.
How many laps to go?
I said laps to go, not to go.
Okay.
Not that bad at math, Ben. Come on now.
This is ORN math coming right to you.
On FTF.GG.
GG.
There you go.
Meanwhile, that bottom lane continues to drop. I've been seeing Blake trying to squeeze his way up to the high side. So far, hasn't been able to find a space up there for him, just because we're not seeing any kind of pushing from the 96 car. He's kind of hasn't been able to break that bubble to get to his rear bumper. Either that or he's kind of afraid to push him, which is just causing them to drop further and further and further and further back.
And this inside line is dead at this point. They just cannot keep up with the leaders anymore. They're going to slide all the way to the back of this lead pack. And just perhaps hang on here and wait for pit stops.
Unfortunately, now the 96 car was able to find the lane, and yes, finally Blake was able to find the lane up on the high side. Now let's see if he can find someone to work with to get to the inside, try to pass all these cars, all these positions that he lost.
Oh, they're almost ranking in the back here for 30th. Anthony Emery just about chopped the nose off of Peter Alexander. Parker Alexander, I know who you are. And Emery should have been turned around in turn 4 after Connor Horn came over the radio and was complaining about getting pushed into the wall by Jake Poulin.
Anyways, back up to the front where people are racing.
Well, these guys are racing too, just not for the same track position, and some of these guys are a lap down.
You say racing, I say bad driving.
Well, they're doing that all over. We've seen it at the front, the back, the middle, everywhere.
You're going to see me on FTF here pretty soon.
Yeah. Now, if they're not talking about seeing Ben drive, no. See, it's that plain and simple. Could I? Yes. Could I be competitive at a plate track? Kinda. Do I have any desire to? No, not really. Ben would probably be up in the top 10 if he was in this race, but he's not. He's up here with me.
Yeah, so instead of Sean Butler, you got Mr. Ben Crazy up here.
All right, well, we've got 70 laps to go this time by. Here in the WINSTEL 400, we will step aside and go to a break. The final 70 laps from Daytona coming your way next here on FTF.GG. Stay with us. We welcome you back here to Daytona International Speedway. Pit stops are about to start once again here from Daytona. As Alan Kalanick, your race leader, is making the bold decision to come onto pit road practically unannounced.
Oh, and they're wrecking.
Oh, trouble! Trouble front straightaway. Multiple cars are around in the tri-oval. I don't know who either of those are. Let's see here. Triffin Davis involved in it. Zach Amon here in the tri-oval. And the caution flag is out for the second time. Nick Tarabuck with the front end completely destroyed. We'll get a replay here in a moment. But it all started about mid-pack. They were 3 wide, involving Amon, Blake Reynolds, and the 8 of Alex Bates. Here is eventually the replay. There you saw the damage to the 96. So here's the replay. You're going to see the 22. There's a building. The 22 pits. The crash is a separate deal behind him, right there. Contact between the 18 and the 8, and it's on. Kevin McAdams gets involved. Sean Butler involved in another, even though he doesn't have a ton of damage.
Yeah, the 8 of Alex Bates just decided he wants to make it 3 wide. The 18 did not see that happening, and Zach just went down into him and caused the big one.
Half a dozen cars involved in this second caution flag of the WINSTEL 400 past the halfway point.
Including.
And, took out a cone as well, and this will allow these guys to come onto pit road without having to make green flag stops. Now for Kalanick, this is probably going to cycle him around to the race lead, I would imagine, just because he pitted as they started to crash.
Here we can see on board with Sean Butler. He did a great job of braking. I think he got hit in the side there, but other than that, he got out of there pretty free. Come on, Kevin, keep it straight. There we go. Yeah.
Here they come. So Dylan Parker, currently your race leader, he comes onto pit road and he's going to bring just about everybody with him.
Now again, the question is, are you going to be doing just left rears as Dylan Parker misses the pit box? That's going to cost him time. Are you just going to do lefts? Are you going to just do rights? Are you going to do fuel only? Those are the questions.
Well, let's see. Who is that taking off there?
Logan Kress.
So Logan Kress wins the race off pit road. We do have some folks that pitted before the caution flag, not named Alex Kalanick. More importantly, Tyler Head, Nick Doucette, Justin Balillo, P3, Brandon Cruz Monsive, Sean Pellig, Kalanick, Logan Craig. Kalanick is it. So we had 6 drivers stay out here under the caution flag, and they will be your race leaders when we get the restart.
I'm guessing they're going to be coming down pit road this time by. There might be a fuel situation, or they just want to try to stay in the back to save from being involved in any crashes. But that's what I believe that they're doing. We're going to.
Well, but all of these guys have pitted in the last 5 laps. Had Doucette, Malillo, Monsive, and Peleg all pitted the lap before the crash. So they've all pitted recently. So the 98 is coming to pit road. He's a lap down. So these guys are going to stay up at the front.
Yep, I am going to be proved wrong as we go 1 to go. So we got new faces up here. We got Tyler Head in the number 4. We've seen Nicholas Doucette. He's in P2. Justin Malillo in 53. in the traction car. We'll see if he gets any traction on this restart.
Wow.
And then
Where have I heard that one before?
Brandon Cruz, P4 in the 54. So, Jacob, what do you expect? You expect this to go green the rest of the way?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't know if they'll wreck anytime soon, but if we're inside 20 to go and we haven't seen a wreck yet, give it time because it'll happen.
What I'm interested in is seeing how well Justin Malillo is going to be and Brennan Cruz is going to be shoving each lane. It's really going to be up to them whether they continue to stay up front or if they drop back at the start as the pace car enters pit lane, and we're going green.
Tyler Head, Nick Doucette going to lead us back down to the green. Here we go. Big stack up in the outside line. That was Monsove that did not get going, and it's going to stack up Kolonix and the rest of the top side.
Tyler Head gets a really good start there, but he might have gotten a little bit too much of a good start. Justin Malillo is nowhere close to them, and he's getting a great shove from Sean Pellig, I believe, if I say that correctly. I'm pretty bad at pronouncing names.
No, you got it.
Awesome. As where's the 4 car going to go? Is he going to go high? Is he going to go low? You can't go
3 1 per second. That's going to shove Malillo out of the way because here comes the Michigan car of Peleg to the inside. And he's going to go all the way to the lead. And bye-bye Malillo. He gets stuck in the sucker hole. They're 3 wide back there with him. You got the McDonald's car stuck in there as well. The 94 of Brennan McGee stuck in there. As this really has shuffled the pack up.
Yeah, still 3 wide going into 1 and 2. This is where it gets really sketchy. There's one bump that is really bad, especially when you're 3 wide. Looks like everyone gets in scot-free as 24 tried to go up high, almost caused a crash. He thought better of it. Now he's going to go up high. But we got some great racing going on throughout the entire pack.
So Head leads, Peleg on the inside.
Oh, they're wrecking.
Trouble, off turn 4, there they go, caution's out, the 70 is around. Everybody does a pretty good job to avoid for the most part. It's the 70 that goes spinning of Aaron Smith. And I think for the most part we survived this caution. Yeah, he got turned around. Oh, he got some major netcode there from the 04. Some more damage further back. Josh Burnett got up into the air with some contact. The 56 of Burnett involved in that. Another one, Jeremy Stanley in the 44 got a piece. Here is the replay. They all just kind of get stacked up 3 wide. It shows Mauricio wide, and then it comes down and hits the 70. A little bit of netcode there for him. And some damage further back with the 44 and the 56. Otherwise, not too bad.
Yeah, just kind of some weird netcode there. Not much you can say. Connor kind of moved up the lane. Caused Gabriel to kind of move up as well. And then that was that accident. Not really anyone you can put blame on, unfortunately. Or fortunately.
Yeah.
Here, we're on board with Frisch. Let's see how he avoids this accident. He just goes all the way.
He just goes low.
Avoid the 70 car.
Yeah. It's not too bad. I've seen him avoid worse.
Meanwhile, we're having pit stops now. Everyone trying to repair their cars or trying to top off that fuel.
But we do have a good number of folks staying out, particularly the top 11, 12 staying out. Tyler Head, Doucette, Monsivais, Pele, Kalonix, Kress, Parker, McGee, Roberts, Lopez, Chat Lane all staying out. Everybody else bringing it to pit row.
So much about staying green. That lasted all about 2 laps.
Yeah, it didn't last very long, and now we're going to have a restart inside 60 laps to go. Here from Daytona to try and win the WINSTEL 400. $400 goes to the race winner tonight. More than $1,000 purse for this event. As that contact blamed on Anton, and it's going to send him to the back of the field with an EOL penalty. By the way, Ben, I know you were somewhat paying attention to the football game going on right now. How about a scoop and score for TJ Watt? Steelers lead 7-0 with 10:41 to play in the second quarter.
Time for some Yinzer mode. Steelers going to the Super Bowl.
Says the Browns fan, everybody. Says the Browns fan. All right.
Something that's really surprising is there is still 39 cars on the lead lap out of the 43 drivers.
Yep.
We'll see how long that lasts if they continue this streak of yellow flags as the lights are out on the pace car. We got 1 to go to green.
Yeah. This is fun. How's the weather out there? Can you hear the ice banging on my window?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. It's died down a little bit. It's the combination of the ice and the wind. I believe we're in a wind advisory from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning until 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So we're having a grand old time out here.
I'm just lucky to be getting snow, so we haven't had any sleet, at least not yet.
And eventually this is all going to turn over to rain, but that's not going to happen until really late tonight. But with the temperatures are supposed to crash in after the storm goes through, so I think everything's just going to freeze back over anyway once this thing's said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Ice, ice, baby. Dum, 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 dum. All right, here we go.
That is an easy mute from Jake as we go green with 58 laps to go as we cross the line. Tyler Head leads the field.
Yeah, he got a very good restart. Everybody else asleep at the switch, and here comes the 54 of Monsivais to the inside with help from behind with Kalonix. Trying to catch back up to Tyler Head, who got a great restart and was able to scoot away, but here comes the pack coming off too.
Sean Butler kind of mid-pack, squeezed his way to the high side. He sees the momentum's going to be up there, and the momentum is definitely not going to be at the bottom as the 4-car Tyler Head moves up and gets a nice push from the 51 car of Doucette. We'll see how long it lasts. The 54 car, Brandon Cruz, is cruising on the bottom.
Here comes that 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsivais. Trying to get his shot up at the front with help from Kalonix.
Here in 1 and 2, everyone's still pretty much double wide. That 4 car, though, is getting a nice shove. Doucette really controlling that high side. Giving it a nice shove, and that 4 car stays in the lead. Unfortunately, Alex is not on the back of that 54 car of Brandon. He really needs to get there, otherwise they're going to be starting to drop like a rock like they currently are.
Yeah, that inside line is really starting to back up. Kalanick's fell back, and he got a big push from the 52 of Dylan Parker, but he still has not been able to consistently stay with that 54, and it's just allowed the outside line to pull away. 4 cars clear up top. Logan Crest, the last one to be clear.
Yeah, now we got a 5 train, we got a 6 train, we got a 7 train as that bottom lane continues to drop positions. That 22 car of Alex really needs to start thinking about getting on that rear bumper of the 54, otherwise he's going to continue to fall. Right now they're in the 10th position and continue to fall as they cross through Tri-Oval.
Headed back to turn number 1 with 55 laps to go here from Daytona in the WINSTEL 400. Tyler Head continues to lead the way. And from here, you got to think about, Ben, those up at the very front that it's been a while since they've pitted, they are going to have to pit more than likely 2 more times. Everybody else is still going to have to pit 2 more times, but the timing can be a little different. There's a little more wiggle room with those that pitted under that last caution. Is what in the world are they doing back there with Kalanick? Looking at the inside of the 54 Montsove. He can't get it to happen, and has to pull back in line.
Yeah, there's a couple drivers back there pulling chase as they play chess, trying to switch positions, see which line is faster. But it's going to be interesting with these other drivers on different pit strategies. How's that going to work out at the end of this race if it continues to stay green? Which driver will be able to keep up front? Also, with entering pit road, it's a bit challenging, and the faster you get into there, the more riskier, but the better consequences if you get out right.
Back to 1 to go. Tyler Head continues to lead. Everybody back to choo-choo train up on the outside line for the most part.
One of these days, we just need a car with a Thomas the Tank Engine scheme leading the train on the high side.
That would work.
So far, the action is still pretty much back around the top 10. Blake is on the high side, while Brandon Cruz is still stuck on that bottom lane with the 22 behind him. 22 is now on his rear bumper, giving him a shove. Should have thought about doing that a couple laps ago, but they seem to be still kind of dropping back. There's only about 3 cars in that bottom lane. But there's some checkups going, and there's a spin and a crash.
Trouble. Yeah, there they go. Around goes the 70. Again, more trouble. Still piling in. Ryan Doucette is around. Multiple cars with damage. Aaron Smith around again. Alec Martinez with more damage on his race car. Caution flags back out. Big damage for 1 car coming to pit road. Ryan Nalraki. All 4 corners of that race car demolished.
Yeah, there was just a checkup in front of them, and just like traffic on I-95, it came to a slow crawl and caused the cars behind them to check up, smash into each other, and go spinning. You can kind of see here from the replay. Kind of happens in front of Blake. He checks up a little. 96 checks up. 48 checks up. 63. 236, and then they go round.
So again, this takes about half a dozen cars or more involved in it. Now Rocky gets the worst of it. And we are under yet another caution flag here from Daytona National Speedway. Another angle. Big stack up on the outside. Justin Malillo, for the most part, does a good job of staying out of too much trouble. Back here with Doucette. Since Wham gets into the 70, and then, it gets turned from behind because they just keep stacking up and they won't stop stacking up. Nowhere for him really to go. And then he gets stuck. Has to back up and get it rolling.
Oh, my God.
Oh, for Pete's. Come on, man.
Oh, no. That is the 8 of Alex Bates. You hate to see it.
Sean Butler pits for 3 seconds and is your race leader. Fuel only for Sean. And it looks like fuel only for a lot of these guys. And Sean retakes the lead after getting involved in a couple of crashes.
It's going to be interesting to see how this works out. If they continue to stay under caution, he might be able to save enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. I'm not 100% sure on what the fuel situation is.
No, they've only been able to make it 25 laps or so. They're going to have to stop one more time here, everybody. So
Yeah,
stopping here makes sense.
If there's 25 laps of caution, which there might be,
they won't be able to save that much, though. They are still going to have to pit again. It's just when is the question. And overtime could also play a factor.
that is correct. Now, 1 to go. The lights are off on the pace car as they get doubled up. Do we have a subscribe button?
Yep.
We do. We need a level 8 hype train.
Level 5 hype train and we call off the race.
No, level 5 hype train, otherwise Zach's PC dies.
Yeah. By the way, Zach, did you get further away from your microphone? Okay. You have gotten quieter, Zach, our producer in our ear. You've gotten quieter since you came back after the computer died the first time. I don't know why.
Talking to Ghost at the moment.
Yep. Breaking that fourth wall, paying no attention to the man behind the curtain. It sounds about the same, but... Alright, yeah, here we go, thanks. Coming to green.
The voices in our head. All right, we exit turn 4. Pace car is making his way into pit lane about now.
And we got the restart. Sean Butler, Logan Kress leading us back to green. Green flag.
Green flag, green flag, green flag as Sean Butler leads the inside lane, but he has no pusher. Car on the outside. Brandon McKissick doing the shoving on that 30 car of Logan Kress as they make it into turn 1 and turn 2.
Yeah, Kress didn't get the best restart in the world, spun the tires with that 24 all over the back of him, but it doesn't matter now because he's getting pushed all the way to the lead, and Sean Butler is just getting abandoned at the doorstep right now. Nobody wants to go with him. He's not clear up high. He doesn't have help down low. He's just left all alone. As now he finally gets help from the 11 of Emmanuel Lopez, maybe, but he kind of backs off, so the top two just is able to scoot away.
Yeah, the front two are tandeming away from the field. We'll see how long that lasts. Once Brandon McKissick's engine starts getting heated up, it's not going to last long. But here comes Blake Reynolds out of nowhere. He's going to be following the 24 car. Oh, no!
There goes Class around in front of the field. Everybody else gets on the brakes to avoid, and somehow they are going to do it. The race leader gets turned for the second time tonight. What a great job by Logan Kress and the rest of the field to hang on and not tear up the whole pack. Looks like Kress did get hit by one car.
Yeah,
it was Tryfon Davis in the 96. Yep, other than that, 2-car incident, which could have been a 32-car incident in turn 2.
Yeah, Tryfon was in a pretty bad spot. He had cars to the left, cars to the right. There's nothing really he could have done other than go straight into the back of the rear end of the 30 car. But look at this. He goes real sideways here. And straightens it out. Ugh. And everyone did a great job avoiding it. That was pretty good.
He's going over with Colonics.
Meanwhile, Brandon McKissick is given an EOL penalty for causing the crash, so he is going to be starting from the rear. That means that Blake Reynolds is now your new leader.
And it puts Blake out in front, then Peleg, Butler, Tyler Head, and Brennan McGee, your top 5 here. Under yet another caution, inside 50 laps to go. We'll get a restart inside 45 to go.
That was really going to hurt Brandon McKissick. We're running out of laps. And especially if we start training here towards the end of the race, or if more accidents happen in front of him, he's got to avoid them as well as try to make his way through the field, which is very hard at this track.
Yeah. So, we need to get people to talk to. Zach. And, like, our usual suspects are not in the Discord. No Sean, no Kevin. Sure, we can talk to the pole sitter and 1-point leader Alex Kalonix. There he is. All right, so led a couple laps tonight was your pole sitter Alex Kalonix. You've been running up toward the front, accident or 2 here and there, but you've been able to keep that 22 up front for the most part so far tonight. Looking ahead to the finish now, what's the game plan for the last 45 laps?
Well, the game plan for me is I do have to worry about my aggressiveness. Earlier in the wreck with Sean Butler, car was destroyed and I was forced to use a fast repair, so as of right now, it's just survival. But luckily, I've been running well enough. We're working really well with these WINSTEL guys. Pretty much a pseudo teammate to them right now, so hopefully I can work with them to stay up front.
How many more accidents do you expect to see up here? Typically what happens is as the laps wind down, the chaos continues to build. We started out really well without any caution flags, but now the cautions have started to roll on here as we get going.
Well, I mean, as we've seen tonight, it's guys typically get more and more aggressive, especially as they want to work their way up to the front. This track is pretty hard to pass if you don't got a good group of guys to work with. But luckily, for the most part, WINSTEL as a whole is still up here at the front of the field, a majority of the top 10. So luckily, we can all work together and leave those other guys out to dry.
All right, well, we're coming to 1 to green here, so we'll let you go. Best of luck, Alex, and potentially we'll talk to you here at the end of this deal.
All right, thank you. I hope so, too.
Your pole center from tonight, Alex Kalonix. He sits P10 right now in that number 22 gold-painted Ford. Trying to get himself back out in front and win the $400 on the line tonight for the race winner of the WINSTEL 400.
It'll be fun to see where he finishes and where he ends up. Again, getting through, especially mid-pack to rear end, it's going to be pretty hard to make up positions. But with all these cars crashing out, depending on your reaction skills, you might be able to make your way through the field that way.
Zach, is there anything else coming up on FTF.GG other than the FTF 500? Which the FTF 500 is live on Bottom Split, but everything before it is going to be here on FTF.GG. Anything? Okay, so all of the FTF Cup Series is here on FTF.GG, with the exception of the FTF 500. Core over on the Core channel Thursday from Talladega. It's technically not FTF.GG, but it's the same freaking people. WINSTEL's also doing that's right, a 2006 Throwback League on Sunday nights. And we'll be doing a couple of those every now and again. Not sure when that starts up, but you'll be seeing it all here. Green flag with 43 laps to go and a great restart for Blake Reynolds. Him and Butler team up and take off to turn number one. They're 3-1. Kalonix gets turned. Around goes Kalonix. He spins and half the pack piles it in. There is the caution flag, and we've got 10 or 12 cars involved. Logan Kress is involved. Dylan Roberts is involved. Numerous cars that were up at the front since the drop of the green flag involved, because they all stacked up from 10th on back.
Yeah, commentator's curse right there. Alex got spun there, and unfortunately the admins were pretty late on calling the caution, so the cars behind them just continuing to pile into the back of them. That was a pretty big wreck.
And a lot of damage involved with that wreck as well. A lot of torn up race cars. I think Kalonix fared off decently well. Dylan Roberts on the other end, that thing is destroyed. And it all started there with Doucette that got sideways. Kalonix checked up, and then he got run over from Roberts, and everybody piled in. Logan Kress, that thing is demolished. Remember, Kalonix has already used his faster pair. Now, Rocky involved in this one a little bit. He's already used his faster pair. Kless has used his faster pair. Dylan Roberts has used his faster pair. So a lot of folks involved in this one have already used their one and only. And now we're going to have to just fix this thing and pray they get it fixed up enough.
Yeah, rewatching the replay, it kind of looks like the 51 either missed a gear or slowed down somehow, which caused him to check up, and the 22 to check up, and then it was just all crashing from there. As we look on from the EA Sports car, doing a great job of avoiding it until he gets tagged in the back. Hopefully there's not too much damage on the rear end for him.
Yeah, so Blake Reynolds continues to lead since the accident was way back there, but yeah. I think they're trying to get to the pace car here eventually. I think that's the plan.
Blake pretending to be the pace car for right now. He's slowing down right now.
Yep, these things happen. I don't know. Who are we interviewing?
Who are you talking to?
All right, perfect. What do you mean, let's bring in Ben? Ben's already here.
All right, we got the 94 here in the booth. You got a copy, brother.
I got you.
All right. It's been a pretty wild race from the pretty much midway of the race going forward. What's your plan on trying to get to the lead?
I'm not too sure yet. It's been very interesting because for a few laps, the bottom line will work, then the top line will work, and then it'll shift again. But the top line seems to be preferred right now. I think where I'm in such a good position, I might just ride for a little bit because we still have 40 laps to go. We still have one pit stop left. And if they keep wrecking it up at the mat the way they have been, we'll be able to stay clear up here with the top 10 or so and then just fight it out at the end. So we'll see what happens. Those first 70 laps are really clean, but I think the action's starting to pick up a little bit here in this last half of the race, to put it nicely. Guys are ready to go. They know it can be a little difficult to pass here and there just because of the updated draft models, so it's go time really if you're back there behind 20th.
Well, good luck up there. See you starting in P4. We'll see, hopefully talk to you at the end of this one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool.
That was
Brennan McGee that you heard, as we are half a lap away from the restart.
We're hearing from race control that there is no penalty, so no one will be dropped into the back. So our leaders are currently Blake Reynolds, Sean Butler, Sean Pellig, Brennan McGee, Tyler Head, Jaden Carter. That is your top 6. As we exit turn 4, pace car is thinking about taking it to the pit lane. We got about 40 laps to go.
We'll have 39 to go here on the restart. Pace car is in. Green flag. Another great start for Reynolds. He goes up and picks Butler up on the top of the racetrack. Pellig tried to follow, but now Pellig is just going to be forced to lead the bottom line. Tyler Head is going to have to push him back up to the front as they bring it around through turns 1 and 2.
That's probably a smart move from Blake Reynolds. Sean Butler is known to be pretty good on these super speedways. He knows how to push. He knows how to do his thing, and that is exactly what he's doing. He's giving a nice shove to Blake Reynolds into the backstretch. I'm going to give him the nice shove into turn 3.
Yeah, Sean knows what he's doing, minus the fact that he caused the first accident in the race.
Mostly knows what he's doing.
Yep. As he's going to push Blake around to lead this lap here under green. Now we got the 94 right there, Brennan McGee, who we just talked about. He's P3 in the outside line. With Sean Pellig downstairs in the Michigan car through turns 1 and 2.
Bottom lane still staying pretty organized. We got the 4-car dictating the speed of that lane with Sean Pellig leading it. Unfortunately, it looks like they're continuing this start where they're starting to drop back just because they don't really have any help behind them. And there goes the tandem right there. They're going to start dropping like a rock here pretty soon. Meanwhile, up front, Sean is still doing a great job with pushing Blake Reynolds.
Bringing it around back to turn number 1. The inside line already starting to fall apart. Everybody just tucked up behind Blake Reynolds. It looks like nobody wants to work with Michigan, and I don't blame him, frankly. Not because of the driver, because of the sponsor. Sorry, Sean, but neither Ben nor I are huge Michigan fans.
These things happen.
Yeah, well.
Dropping back like their chances of winning the championship after losing the first round. Meanwhile, still up front, Blake Reynolds, Sean Butler still continuing to do a great job with pushing. Brennan McGee and Jaden Carter rounds out your top 4 of the train that's on the high side.
Closing in on 35 laps to go. They'll hit 35 to go this time by. It's all Blake Reynolds out front, with Butler in second, McGee in third, Jaden Carter fourth, Brandon Cruz Montsevet in 5th, then Doucette, and the 42 with Dylan Alt.
So while they stay single file up front, let's go ahead and start focusing on mid-pack around 7th to 8th-ish. That's where that Michigan car is. Now they're going to be trying to fight their way up to the high side, try to get as much room as they can to get on the train. So far, oh, someone tried to squeeze up there. That was going to happen. That actually made space for the 4 car of Tyler Head. He's going to sneak up there. But everyone else is kind of stuck on the bottom. Michigan man made his way up to the top, but that's going to check everybody up. And now they're trying for 3 wide.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out too well. We haven't seen it work well.
Yeah, that was Gabriel. He made it 3 wide, and then he gave a little shove as well in the tri-oval. I'm sure the 11 car is not too pleased about that. That 11 car being Emmanuel Lopez.
Still 3 wide way in the back, but everybody now, for the moment, is single file throughout the field. So they're still trying to get it sorted back there, and it looks like they're going to.
We got a pit stop happening.
It's a little early for green flag stops. Nick Doucette, he's on pit road. That's a bold strategy, like Kevin McAdams just said over the radio, because he's going to have to save some fuel in order to make it to the end.
Yeah, and he's not going to have any kind of draft partner to help him continue to stay up with the field. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Logan Kress out of the race. He's parked the car, done for the night.
Yeah, it worked well for the 22 earlier in the race, but unfortunately, since everyone is riding the train, go on and ride it. I don't expect a caution here anytime soon.
Right.
So Blake Reynolds continues to lead this train as Sean Butler acts as the engine and continues to push Blake, keep that high lane as fast as it can go. Something happened to the 69 car. Might have dropped out.
Maybe. Potentially. McClintock has disconnected. He's gone home. And that is the 69. So, yeah. That answers that.
Yeah, they might have wrecked early, so looks like he just pulled it off and hauled it forward and called it a day.
I believe they've been involved in a couple of different accidents, so... laps to go in the WINSTEL 400 here on FTFDG from Daytona International Speedway. Blake Reynolds continues to lead. Sean Butler in second. Then the rest of the order: Brennan McGee, Jaden Carter, Brandon Cruz Montsevet, Dylan Alt, Octavio Rondoletto, Connor Horn, Sean Pellig, Tyler Head, the top 10. And how about Connor Horn? Was tracked a lap down for a lot of the middle part of the race, was able to get back on the lead lap, and here he is now inside the top 10, trying to bring it home for a good finish. That 67 car.
Yeah, it's been an up and down race for him. Thankfully, towards the end of it, it's been an up. Hopefully it continues. Hopefully towards the end of this race, when it starts getting crazy, He doesn't get involved in anything. We're hearing word that the 51 was short on fuel. He didn't fill it up under yellow when the yellow flag happened, so he ended up having to pit. He's currently at the tail end of the field. I believe he's going to be looking at getting lapped down. As you can see from the hood of Blake Reynolds, that is the car you're looking at way up there in turn 4. Doucette on his way to get lapped down.
And that also means he's going to be short to the end, and he's going to have to pit again. So, when it rains, it pours, I guess, for the driver of the 51.
So far, still a train. Entering 3 and 4, not much action going on. Everybody playing it safe. What do we got? 28 laps to go, coming to 27 laps to go. There's a lot to fight for, but now is not the time.
So these guys are close now to the window to make it to the end on fuel. The question is, when do these guys pull the trigger to make that pit stop? We will step aside here, and once we come back, we're going to go green all the way to we're going to stay with you all the way to the checkered flag. The WINSTEL 400 will step aside, coming to 26 laps to go. Blake Reynolds, your leader. We welcome you back here to the FTF.GG coverage of the WINSTEL 400. 24 laps to go and counting. These guys are now in the pit window where they can make it to the end whenever they decide to come on the pit road. The question is, when will they do it? We'll just have to wait and see.
Being the key phrase there. So far, everyone's been content with riding the train, but who's going to be the first one to get off the train, get on the station, and put in pit road?
Coming to 22 to go this time. We got people saying they're pitting. Here we go. The floodgates have opened. The 94, Brennan McGee, he was the first one to come over the radio and say he's coming in. Mauricio, Stanley, Head, Burnett. Here they all come onto pit road. Let's see, is everybody going to make it? Yes.
Everyone's pretty clean.
No catastrophe. So we're, I think, 3 for 3 now on green flag pit stops. Blake Reynolds continues to lead. I'd expect these guys all in this next time by.
Yeah, if they don't pit this time by, they run the risk of losing the cars that pitted earlier. Even if the early pack does not take tires, they have slightly cold tires just by going really slow on pit road. So you take that advantage and you can break away from this pack. But let's see if they go pits this time. Doesn't look like it. We got a couple takers in the back.
So they're going to stay out once again, and I think now that they move to the inside here, now's when they're going to pit. I think they were just going to wait and see if potentially a caution were to come out if somebody were to wreck it coming off pit road or something. But instead, they're all going to have to make their stop this time. This will be the last stop of the day.
Yeah, they're running the inside lane now, so I believe that is the signal of them going to pits this time.
By the way, just in case anybody thought the Steelers had a shot at beating the Chiefs, no. Halftime, 21-7 Chiefs lead. Here we go. In come the leaders for the final time. Everybody drives it in deep, Blake Reynolds especially, and they're all going to make it, and nobody got hurt. One car went a little wide. I think that was pulling, but other than that, everybody is all good. Looking for our race leader, Brandon McKissick, or our eventual race leader, Brandon McKissick. Here he comes through 3 and 4. He does not have any drafting help right now, as he is catching up to these guys that are on pit road. Shout out to Jupiter, Florida, where McKissick is from. As here he comes, rounding outside.
I am seeing McKissick in P17.
At the line, yes. But he is passing all of those that just came on the pit road. And now McKissick is up inside the top 10 and still going.
That is correct, but there's Blake Reynolds and there's the other pack. The 24 is now getting behind Blake Reynolds.
Looking around to figure out. Okay, so Freynars just came off pit road.
They're 3 wide.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Nick Tarabuck is your race leader. ATVO is broken, so I don't know when he pitted. He has not pitted, which would make sense because he's way out in front of everybody else.
Yeah, so it looks like we got a couple lappers that still have yet to pit.
And Freynars has not pitted either. I don't think. No, Freynars just came off pit road.
So that
Because he just got passed
right now.
So Tarabuck is your leader. Then it's Flores, Triffin Davis, Anton, Emery, and then Blake Reynolds. Here comes Triffin Davis, at least. He's on pit road. So that's going to put Reynolds in 5th. And everybody, again, back to work. Ho-hum outside line.
Yeah, we got a pack of 2, Connor Anton and Anthony Emery. They are P3 and P4 getting caught by the train led by Blake Reynolds. Let's see where he decides to go. Is he going to be inside? Is he going to be outside? Or is he just going to follow him? Outside. Oh, that was not smart.
Oh, look out! Oh, that
put a big block.
was the caution. Emery
Yeah, probably would have been smarter for Blake to go to the inside.
Oh, man. Blake's going to turn him at this rate. All over the back bumper.
Well, I'm sure Blake is pretty pissed off after that happened. So Blake's looking to the inside, looking to the outside, and he's just going to stay.
Oh, trouble! Crash behind him. Caution flag is out. The 18 is around. Mosave, he gets hit again. Kevin McAdams involved in it. Freynars is involved. Zach Amon was the first car sideways, and the caution flag is out with 16 laps to go, and this changes everything, crashing just outside the top 10. We'll get a replay right here. It's further back in the field where they're side by side. The 88 and the 18 is where this all starts.
Yeah, it looks like the 18 went down while the 54 went up, and they just collected each other.
The 48 as well.
Yeah. So it was actually the 48 and the 54. The 48 went down, 54 went up, and caused the 54 to spin out and caused the 18 to go around.
And that changes the ball game. Here's another angle. And that takes 4 or 5 more cars with it.
Still pretty hard to see. If we can get like a roof cam of the 48 car, I believe that'll kind of show us what happened there.
Freynars has parked the car. He's done for the night. So Nick Tarabuck is your race leader, but he's coming onto pit road. Here's the onboard with the 48. Yeah, it's almost a classic Daytona wreck in these cars where you just watch up the racetrack and there's somebody on your outside, you hit, and it's on.
Yep. Here's from
somebody. The 83, Emily Howe. Oh, that was close. So, your race leader, at least at the line, yeah, Connor Anton.
Yep, I'm seeing Connor Anton, Anthony Emery. Then we got Blake Reynolds, Brandon McKissick, Connor Horn, and Dylan Alt.
Sean Butler back in 14th. Remember, he was up at the front with McKissick and Reynolds before the pit stops. He didn't quite have a good stop and fell back.
Yeah, especially when you're not used to it. Pit stops really help the pro guys. Pro guys have been practicing that thousands and thousands of times, and that's why they get so good at pit entry, and that's why you see people like Blake Reynolds up there.
I think we're going to try and talk with Kevin here, McAdams, since he's still on pit road getting the car worked on. There he is. There he is. Kevin. Well,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay.
You kind of put your vantage point in the chat, but nonetheless, take us through that last wreck, the most recent caution.
Yeah, me and the guys back there, I feel like just the whole entire time we've been stuck in the back, me, Naraki, Malillo, and we were going to go with Frisch and Butler eventually, but I honestly don't know what happened there. I don't know as far as, you know, who hit who, but I guess there was a wreck, and I couldn't see anything because I was so far back, and kind of there was a blind spot with the whole field in front of me, and I just saw a car flipping, and I got on the brakes as soon as I could and tried to find a gap because for some reason the brakes on this car, you just can't stop. And I'm sure you guys have seen that in the pits. People are overshooting their pit stalls all night and just had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and I killed the thing. That's on me for not braking on time, but this race has been fun. It's been frustrating at times because you really can't materialize your own runs. You kind of have to run and work together, but otherwise it's been a fun race.
Well, that's a shame because you were up on the front row. You were up at the front for the beginning part of the race, got shuffled back a little bit, and then things just kind of stopped going here right once the caution flag started coming out.
Yeah, I missed the first one, and then I don't know what happened on the tri-oval. been a lot of avoidable incidents, I feel like, tonight, especially the way this package is. You kind of can spread out and whatnot. But I don't know, after the first caution between Sean with the net code, I just feel like everyone turned their brains off. And it's been kind of rough. But regardless, I'm going to cheer on the guys that I've been working with all night. Blake Reynolds, Frisch, Naraki, Butler, obviously. And I hate that I'm in the booth for this reason and not calling a damn thing. But it's been fun.
Thank you, Kevin, and best luck to your teammates.
Thank you.
Green flag with 13 laps to go in the WINSTEL 400. Not a good restart from Emery. Anton's going to pull away, and that's going to... Oh, trouble in the background. Around goes the 04. Big crash in the tri-oval, and once again, calamity on the restart. Justin Melillo involved in this one. The 51 of Doucette. Mauricio involved. Josh Burnett involved. Flores. Maybe half the field. Tarabuck torn up in this one, who just pitted. Monseve involved. Davis, Lopez with damage. Huge crash in the middle of the pack on the restart.
Yeah, from what I can see, it looks like there was a huge checkup on the inside lane and kind of in front of Frisch, and then the one car checked up, and then the car behind him just kind of hit him sideways, which caused the calamity.
And everybody else piles up. We've had a couple of those tonight.
Yeah, again, I think it was one of those situations where the yellow flag was thrown kind of late, and the cars in the back. It's really hard to see out of the windshields when you're chucked up behind the cars. So if that yellow flag isn't thrown, it's pretty hard to see what's happening in front of you.
Again, this took just about 10 cars with it here. You can see the stack up, and then just the inside line gets turned up to hell, and it's on. Track blocker.
Here we got an onboard, so green flag's going on now.
This is Almond.
We're a bit higher than where the driver position would be, but as you can see, like, he was right on the rear bumper, and he did the best he could with avoiding, but there's nothing really he could do in the back, especially when you're trying to get through the gears.
He tried his damnedest. Just wasn't enough.
Jake, what's the count on the faster pairs? Do any of those drivers have any faster pairs left?
Here's who has faster pairs in the entire field, according to my ATVO, which has been broken, so I don't know if this is entirely accurate. Blake Reynolds still has his. Brennan McGee, Emily Howe, Michael P. Frisch, Emmanuel Lopez, Jaden Carter, end of list. So those 5. 6.
Yeah, how many people have been involved in crashes so far?
Yes. Now, some of them may have accidentally forgotten to uncheck them or something after minor contact, but that's why you got to pay attention to it. And if you use it, you better hope you don't need it later on. Some of these folks will. And that's why once you get to the end of these things and everybody starts to pile up, it gets frustrating because you got nowhere to go. And your one shot to win the race is now out the window because of somebody else's mistake. We're going to restart here inside 10 laps to go.
I have a feeling that the next 10 laps are going to be super crazy. We might see some three wide racing throughout the field, just anybody trying to get as many spots as they can. Or, you know, there could be some drivers that sit in the back and wait for that caution and try to gain some points.
It's still icing here, by the way, just in case you can't hear it over the microphone. Yep, it's still frozen outside. So, who's your pick to win, Ben?
Looking at the field, I would say my first pick is probably going to be Blake Reynolds. My long pick would be that there's a big crash up front and somehow a Michael P. Frisch or a Sean Butler makes their way up through and wins it. What about you?
You're going Blake Reynolds, huh? All right, well then, I'm going to go a little outside the box with my normal pick. I'm going to go Dylan Alton at 42. Let's see what he can do to get to the front. Dark horse, Justin Melillo. Because why not?
That is true.
Even if he has damage from these couple of wrecks, he's already used his faster pair. I don't care, damn it. You never count out Justin Melillo. Now, of course, he's lost a couple of races by thousandths of a second. It's possible that it happens again tonight, unfortunately. So you never know what can happen when this thing comes down to the checkered flag. 9 laps to go on the restart. Hold your breath. We do have overtime if we need it. Anton and Emery on the restart. Green flag. Oh, and Emery has the 24 all over the back bumper of him. I was worried he was going to get hooked there on that restart. They're already three wide. Emily Howe trying to go up the middle.
4 wide in the back. And
Oh, trouble. Wrecking in the background. Caution's out. One car up in the air. The 96. The 96 Triffin Davis up in the air and up on top of the wall, right behind Justin Melillo. The 18 involved in yet another one, Amon. That's like his 5th crash tonight. Dylan Parker involved in this one. He had the 96 on top of him. And yet another crash before we get to the middle of turn 2. Caution's out for the I have no idea time tonight.
Yeah, what we're going to see is there's a couple slow cars that should have pitted and made their way to the back. And the fast cars had to try to weave their way through it. It was 4 wide, and that caused calamity. 96 was probably the most hurt. But again, it was the 96 that mostly caused that from what I could see. He was the slowest and made it 4 wide.
I don't know, just because the 18 couldn't hold his line in there. If you get another replay of it, you see he just keeps coming down and down and down and down and down. Hold your line and you don't wreck. If you keep coming down, you're going to get turned. And that's what happened.
That's true.
Because he had room to the outside. All right, well, the punishment has been determined here. If you cause a wreck, you're gone. Race controllers come over the radio and said, if you cause the next crash, you are out of here. Triffin Davis has parked the car. He's done for the night.
We're hearing that Trippin was the cause of the wreck.
Yeah. And some are putting the blame on the 96. Again, he's parked the car. Done for the night. And they're saying if you're that slow, you shouldn't be on the racetrack anyway. Do not pull off the apron, onto the apron before you get to the start-finish line. If you're that off pace, get off the track.
Yep. Yeah, and there was a couple cars up there that were missing front ends. Trippin was not one of them, but he also had pretty major damage and some engine damage, which really slowed him down at the start. It's all part of racing, though.
Yep. So we should get 1 to green here this time by, which will give us a restart with 5 laps to go, and any cautions after this point should put us in overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be a 5-lap shootout. Anything can go, especially if there's a big wreck in front of the pack. hearing the admins in our ears, just repeating the rules. Not being able to pass under the yellow line until after turn 2. We'll see if anyone attempts that.
We'll find out.
So Jacob, what's the lineup for FTF.GG?
Once again, everything building up to the FTF 500. The FTF 500 will be on bottom split, but everything preceding it will be right here. You've got the WINSTEL 2006 Throwback League, which will be on Sunday night, so we'll have some of those races for you. And that's about all we know for the time being here on FTF.GG. Saturday, a week from yesterday, during the iRacing 24, qualifying session number 1, and the clash for the FTF Cup Series. Qualifying day number 2 is a week from today, 1 o'clock Eastern. Then the duels, Sunday night, 8 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. all times Eastern. And then 2 Saturdays from tonight, the D-Main, the C-Main, and the B-Main to make the big show. Sunday, January 30th, the FTF 500 here from Daytona. That's on bottom split. Everything else here on FTF.GG for FTF Speed Weeks. Here we go. Emily Howes dropped out of the session, by the way. She was on the lead lap. Green flag, 5 laps to go, and a bad restart for the 92 of Emory once again. Anton doesn't have much help. Here comes the 66. Blake Reynolds with pushed by Connor Horn on the outside as they go to turn 1.
Yeah, Blake's on the outside. He's getting a good push on the inside. We got Connor Anton with 97 behind him pushing. We're getting a bunch of wiggling from the bumps. But right now, the outside lane seems to be more hooked up than the inside lane as we got some 3 wide happening in the middle.
Yeah, it's the 24. Brandon McKissick getting a little squirrely there. Dylan Alt stuck in the middle, getting help from Sean Butler, who's made his way back up inside the top 10 or close to it. That's coming off turn number 4. We've got 4 laps to go. How about Ryan Doucette? Trouble. Butler in the wall. Comes back down. Caution is out as they are still crashing. Around goes Sean again. Michael Fresh also involved in it. Teammates bring out the caution flag, and we are going to overtime.
Yeah, it looked like Sean Butler was having a bit trouble holding the line, and then the Michigan car kind of came down as well. So it was, Sean Pegg and Sean Butler just kind of getting together and causing a spin, as you can see right here. 17 goes down a little bit. Sean Butler goes up. Get together.
And it's on. Oh, who is that? Down to the inside, the 48 of Octavio Rondoleno. Almost made it through, but couldn't quite do it there. And so Blake Reynolds leads, and we are headed to overtime here from Daytona to finish the WINSTEL 400.
Caution after caution after caution. Pretty much after the last half, where we had pretty much clean racing, if not a bunch of training happening. But recently, last couple laps coming down, it's just been crazy. Everyone trying to gain the position, trying to win the race. Unfortunately, you can't win the race from 20th.
You can't? All right, so a couple of folks are down on pit road. Blake Reynolds is your race leader here. As we head to overtime here to start the season in the FTF 400. Just in case 160 laps weren't enough. We get some extras here tonight.
How many green white checkers do we get?
I believe 3.
All right. I had a feeling if it was unlimited, we were going to be here for quite a while.
If it was unlimited, I would have left. Otherwise, it'd just be a demo derby, survival to the fittest.
As the field comes through the tri-oval right now, we're going to get one to go. The lights off on the pace car once it crosses the finish line. And then we'll get to see these guys battle it out. Blake is choosing the high lane. Connor Horn is going to be forced to the inside. Then behind him, it's going to be Ryan Dawsett in the 77. And Connor Anton in P4.
All right. Do they make it? Or do we do this song and dance again?
I think we need a vote. Do they make it?
Zach, you know what to do.
All right, vote should be coming up here pretty shortly. Do they make it?
Okay, we got half a lap to green. We might get this up before the restart. Oh, come on, Zach. Can we extend the caution flag so Zach can do his job?
All right, just put a 69 in chat if you think they're not going to make it.
The Travis Brown strategy. Shout out to all 130 plus of you for watching here on FTF.gg. Appreciate you watching. Follow, subscribe, donate bits, whatever you want to do. Anything that you give goes right back into Zach's bank account to pay us. So,
Computer.
well, or that. Connor Horn and Blake Reynolds lead us down. Green flag in overtime attempt number 1. Here from Daytona in the WINSTEL 400. Blake Reynolds with help from Anton up on the high side. Emery there as well. You've got Ryan Doucette, who's been at the back all day and involved in a couple of accidents. He's second on the inside line, pushing Connor Horn, who was also a lap down and in the back of the field earlier on. As they rocket off turn number 2, as they get slowly almost up to full song.
Again, it is the second car that dictates the speed of the pack. We got Connor Anton pushing the top side, and we got Ryan Doucette on the inside of the 77 pushing that car of Connor Horn. We're coming to 1 to go. Are we going to make it? Are we going to cross the line?
Here we come off turn 4. White flag going to be in the air. Looks like we are going to make it. Yes, we will. Next flag ends the race. Blake Reynolds leads the bell lap. Who's going to lead the last one? Here from Daytona in the WINSTEL 400. Blake Reynolds leads the outside line. Connor Horn going to need some more help down low. Anton in second on the high side, keeping them all at bay for the most part. Down the back straightaway, off turn number 2 for the final time. Connor Horn needs some more help. Doucette looks to the inside. This is going to help the 66 pull away. 3 wide. Here comes the 10 to the inside. Reynolds can put the block on. 3 wide behind as they head to turn 3 for the final time. Reynolds goes back to the outside. Anton needs a run. He gets a push from Emery. Reynolds is able to hold them all at bay. Emery gets squirrely. He goes to the outside. He gets turned to the inside wall. And Blake Reynolds is going to come across and win the WINSTEL 400.
Just no run for the cars behind him. Blake had the control all throughout the last lap.
Blake Reynolds did everything in his power to keep them all behind. And because a lot of the good pushers got taken out in some of the wrecks, that once Blake was out in front, You're pretty much going to have to wreck them to get by them, and they couldn't do it. Blake Reynolds goes to victory lane. He's your WINSTEL 400 winner. And he gets to burn the house down here on the front straightaway. The Coke Series driver, cashes in and wins the $400 tonight. Tied to that first place spot.
See what kind of burnouts he can do. Oh,
He's won a couple of times.
Smoke in the grass.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? A burnout's a burnout.
The Russian judges are not going to be happy about this.
Well, who cares? Who in the... Did you see that? That was Dylan Parker flying in at 200 miles an hour. Just driving it on through the grass and almost hitting a race winner. Let's run through our finishing results here tonight from Daytona International Speedway in the WINSTEL 400. Blake Reynolds, your race winner here tonight. Connor Anton finishes in second. Then Garrett Lowe. Garrett Lowe? Where in the world did he come from? He finishes in third. Then it's Ryan Doucette, Alec Martinez, Brennan McGee, Brandon McKissick, Dylan Alt, Connor Horn, Jake Poulin. Rounding out your top 10. Then it's Parker Alexander, Ryan Nolrocki, Philip Snipes, Jaden Carter, Anthony Emery, Michael P. Frisch in 16th, Jeremy Stanley, Sean Pellig, Justin Bolillo. They were involved in a crash on the last lap, as well as Gabe Marusio. He finishes in the 20th position. 21st, Zach Allman. Sean Butler finishes in 22nd. Nguyen Flores finishes in 23rd. Dylan Parker, 24th. Octavio Rondolino, 25th. Emmanuel Lopez, the last car on the lead lap in 26th, and one lap down or more. Brandon Cruz Montsevet, Nicholas Doucette, Nick Tarabuck, Alex Kalonix, who we talked to during this race, the pole sitter. Then Gil Chatelain, Josh Burnett, Emily Howe, Triffin Davis, Tyler Head, Kevin McAdams, Andrew Freynars, Aaron Smith II, Jeffrey McClintock, Logan Kress, and in the back of the field, 41st, 42nd, and 43rd, Dylan Roberts, Alex Bates, and Kevin Spencer did not complete a lap. Those are your 43 finishers in tonight's WINSTEL 400. Now let's talk to our race winner, Blake Reynolds. Up front, pretty much since the drop of the green flag. Maybe not started where you wanted to back in 17th, but once you were able to get out up front, it just seemed like you were meant to be out front. Take us through that last lap.
Yeah, I got real nervous there at the end. Those restarts were kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm glad I chose the right partner every time. Was a little worried about that last one, Ryan Doucette or Connor Anton. I don't know who I would have picked. I kind of doubted Connor, but then Connor pulled through, and we got the run up too, and I was able to just hold the bubble.
Able to come home with the $400 tied to first place for tonight. What's the plan for using the money?
I don't know. Maybe just sit in the PayPal account. Maybe let it just do my recurring on Amazon purchases. Who knows? Cool stat though. I didn't know. I'm the first repeat winner of this race. That's what Brennan said, I think. I might have gotten that wrong, but that's pretty cool. I'm more excited about that than $400, honestly. I don't know why. It's probably really wrong to think that, but yeah, that's pretty damn cool.
Do you think if the guys behind you would have been able to put together a run there on the last lap to get to your back bumper, you would have been able to hold them off, or do you think that you just had it the whole way and knew you were going to get it there on the last lap?
It was just really hard to build the runs, man. Like, especially in these restarts, just coming out of the pits, it takes so long to build the runs. So it was really hard to kind of decide, like, if you're going to pit early, pit late, stuff like that. But it seems like on the restart, it just took forever for the momentum to come up, as for like maybe past the first 3 rows or so. But once I saw very few cars getting a run, I kind of knew, like, out of turn 2 on the white, I probably could hold this bubble pretty easy. And then I saw, I think it was Anthony in the purple car. He got turned off of 4, and I knew Connor wasn't going to get to me.
You'll see him in the Coke Series. Blake Reynolds, your winner tonight in the WINSTEL 400, the first repeat winner in the 10-year event. Blake, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I got to thank KES Industries, Mario Bonfante. Thanks for coming on board. First Four Racing for FTF, Dead Zone Racing. You know how it is. Jim Beaver Esports, the Coke Series. I'm forgetting everybody. It all just changed on me, Jacob. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Blake. Blake Reynolds, your winner tonight here from Daytona International Speedway. Second place with Ben Easterday, it's Connor Anton. Okay, he's not here yet, so, yeah. Blake Reynolds, by the way, he last won this race in 2014. Good grief. 2014.
That's 8 years ago.
I was in middle school.
Oh God, I hate.
I was in 7th grade in 2014. Yeah. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what will. My gosh. I mean, 10-year event. So he won the third rendition here at Daytona, and he wins race number 10 of the WINSTEL 400. As we are awaiting to hear anything from our second and third place finishers, Connor Anton and Garrett Love. It doesn't
look like it's going to be happening.
Well, Connor isn't in the Discord channels. Here's a replay of the last lap, particularly that crash coming off turn 4 involving Justin Melillo. This was behind the spin for memory here.
Yeah, it doesn't have any traction in the grass, do ya? As he gets spun and crosses the line there.
Wow.
Pretty far back. These things happen. It's 92, pounds the wall on the inside, gets it straight, goes through the grass, and crosses the finish line.
Oh, and then gets hit
by Frisch.
Well, at that point, what does it matter? Right? He has to go on board with Justin in that last lap.
Oh, he just gets turned.
Yep. Okay, we're showing signs of life from Garrett Lowe. So it looks like we're going to get him in here. And standing by with Ben, Garrett Lowe.
Hey, Garrett Lowe. It is Ben Easterday. He came in P3 after that wild last half of the race. How's the race for you there at the end?
I mean, the cautions were pretty boring, but it was a good race overall. I got junked in that big wreck early on. I think the first caution, and just put me behind, and I think I ran 35th or something for probably 60 laps. So to be able to recover to third's good. I hate I spun the 90 or 92 car off 4 on there last lap. That's my bad. He came down dead center of 4, and it kind of hooked him, and then we got off the corner, and it hooked him for good. So that one's on me. But congrats to Blake on the win. Pretty good race. Could have been better if we wouldn't have so many cautions, but that's what you get.
Yeah, it's been on the last lap, just hard racing towards the end of the race, and that's what happens on the last lap, unfortunately. But those things happen. Do you have anyone to thank? Anyone you want to say hi to?
Yeah, all Legacy guys, appreciate that. And McKissick, we were working together, or trying to, but we were pretty spread out throughout the race, so we didn't have too much of an opportunity to work together. But when we did, we worked out pretty good. So,
well, congratulations on the P3, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Garrett Lowe, your P3 finisher for tonight. Final thoughts here, Ben, from Daytona.
It was a wild one towards the end. At the beginning of the race, I didn't know if I was going to be staying awake, but thankfully it got pretty wild there. Maybe a little too wild towards the last 10 laps, but we got a great finish there with Blake Reynolds, and I think overall, pretty wild one.
It was a wild one, no doubt about it. Blake Reynolds becomes the first repeat winner of the WINSTEL 400, won it in 2014, wins it again tonight. That's our broadcast tonight here from Daytona. Thanks to Zach Johnson, our producer, and Ben Easterday alongside with me. I'm Jacob Pitts. Finally, for one last time, video, the hype preview, whatever you want to call it, the trailer for the FTF 500 coming your way. And we'll see you with some FTF 500 Speed Weeks next weekend. Until then, good night.
intensity level is pegged here at Daytona.
3 wide, 2 rows deep behind him.
He's going to have to hang on for dear life and make it as wide as he can get.
Big wreck off of turn 2. They're side by side for the lead.
And if they get to the white flag, we'll see it through to the end.
And Michael Frisch is going to win the FTS Bar Visuals 500.